Kementerian Sumber Manusia mengiktirafkan pekerja, jangan kata pekerja pembantu rumah, tak ada. Dia sebagai pekerja. Ya, dia sebagai pekerja di rumah. Ya, so dalam bahasa Inggeris kita domestic work as well. So kita panggil dia domestic worker, tak ada maids, tak ada helpers, tetapi dia sebagai pekerja. Itu sangat penting kerana sekarang di dalam undang-undang pekerjaan mereka didefinisikan sebagai pembantu atau servant bahasa Inggeris, as domestic servant. So oleh sebab itu dia dipinggirkan dan diabaikan sebagai pekerja dan tidak dapat apa-apa faedah yang dijanjikan di dalam akta itu. So oleh sebab itu kita terima banyak kes di mana mereka telah dianiayakan kerana tidak dapat accountability dari majikan atau agensi.
Right.
The signatures are from ordinary people. Yeah. So that's a difference. Yeah.
So, ma'am, in the framework that you propose the ministry to have, do you have already something in mind that should be included?
Yes, the institutional framework, legal framework that they're talking about is one, that the Employment Act be amended to redefine domestic work as work. Now they are seen as domestic servant, and this is not acceptable. It leads to slavery because it creates a servant-master relationship. So kita nak dia sebagai pekerja, yeah, and so we don't want the exclusion of domestic workers from the legal framework. Dua, we have already sent a few years ago, together with the Bar Council and various other organizations, including MTUC, for a standardized contract for all domestic workers that will define the kind of work they need to do in the house. Right now, they do everything, and this we put it like into three areas. One is the daily household chores of cleaning, washing, cooking. Then you have childcare, which needs special skills, and care of the elderly, again another special skills. You cannot combine everything, and Malaysians must begin to understand that. Otherwise, the domestic worker is overloaded, yeah, and she gets exploited. And then we create problems by saying that her work is so efficient because it's just too much. Yeah, so there has to be defining of the work in the areas, and therefore it also will define the skills required. And when you define the areas of work and when you define the skills, then you can also then define the kind of training that needs to be given. Yeah, and so it will also be very clear for the employer what will be the terms and conditions of work, so that both understand each other. Sekarang it's all vague, and therefore it does not help the employer as well as the worker. Yeah. Now, most of all, we are saying in the standardized contract that once you see it as a worker and you define terms and conditions, you also must recognize there is a decent minimum wage that you have to pay. Right now, for me, the payment is indecent. Why? Because it's far below our own poverty line grid. Yeah, which says 750 ringgit. Below that is poverty. Now, they get 500 ringgit. Now, for 12 to 16 hours of work, this is not the wages that then they don't have an off day. That is where we are saying that it's important to recognize domestic worker as a person, as a human being that have rights. And that's why the 1 day off is very important.